All right, it's week 15, everybody. That means it's time for my week 15 predictions in the NFL. Before I get started, please make sure to subscribe, like button, hit the bell. Comment down below what is your predictions for week 15 in the NFL. And with that said, we got 15 games to talk about. Here we go. The Dallas Cowboys at the Carolina Panthers. Now, Carolina's actually been playing like a really good football team. Just really unlucky if it's the loss against the Chiefs, rather, the loss last week. They had opportunities to win. They've been playing great. Now they're playing the Cowboys, who lost last week to the Bengals. Before that, they were playing bad teams, and they were getting wins against bad teams, but I don't necessarily think they're a great team. I'm going to pick Dallas to win this one, which apparently is an underdog pick. So this is one underdog pick this week. I do think Dallas is going to win. I do feel like they are kind of a better team. And I do think Cooper Rush he's not great, but he's okay. Definitely don't think that the Cowboys are going to go do anything the rest of the year. But the way the Panthers are, I do think they'll blow it in the fourth quarter again. And I do think Cowboys are going to get a win here. Kansas City and Cleveland. And you know me, I never predict Kansas City to lose. I'm going Kansas City in this one. Now, Cleveland's and Jameis Winston has been playing pretty good. I don't think that they're a bad team, and while they're almost eliminated from the playoffs, if not eliminated already, they will be this week, because they're playing Kansas City, who constantly, every time I'm watching their games, I say they're the worst 12-1 team that I've seen, and I do still feel like they're not a great team. We got a lot we need to fix heading into the postseason. We're getting quite a bit of lucky wins, whether it's the doink field goal. Every Chiefs game has some drama in it. Every Chiefs game is absolutely crazy and gives a Chiefs fan like me a heartbreak. I'm not expecting an easy win here. Do you think Jameis Winston could get a win here? But it's Kansas City. We don't lose. And while Jameis Winston, I think, has been playing great, we don't lose. Miami at Houston. Now, Miami had a fantastic game against the New York Jets last week where either team could have won. I think they went to overtime. Miami did end up winning. I do believe in that game. Meanwhile, you have the Houston Texans, not one seed, but the best in their division. They have a terrible division, so that's not really saying much. But I don't feel the Texans are as good as they were last year. They have not been playing great. They really haven't. They've been playing with a little bit of struggle. And they're a team that I think is going to win their division. They're going to make the playoffs because their division's terrible. But they're a team that I feel has struggled. And Miami has looked really good with Tua back. Tyreek Hill has been not as great as he is in previous seasons, but he's still been fine. Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, I think, is going to play this game if he didn't get a serious injury last week. So I do think the Dolphins are going to beat the Houston Texans in this game. The Jets and the Jaguars. Now, the Jets actually, just like Miami, played a great game last week. I feel like they actually had some team chemistry. I'm still picking the Jaguars to win this game. Even though Jacksonville has really struggled, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is playing. I definitely think it is Mac Jones playing. And Jacksonville has not looked good at all this season. I just have a better feeling about Jacksonville because the New York Jets just aren't very good. They have weeks where they play really good but lose. But overall, like I say every week, their team chemistry, man, is just not very good. And so they're just a team that I don't think is going to win very many games. They're definitely not going to make the playoffs, and I feel like it's time for Aaron Rodgers to retire. I'm going Jacksonville to win this one. The Commanders and the Saints, pretty easy one here. The Commanders, they have struggled against good teams this year, but against every bad team, they have walloped. The Saints thought they were going to be good at the beginning of the year. Guess we were wrong. And so, easy pick. They're a bad team, so I'm going with the Washington Commanders to beat them. Jaden Daniels, really need him for a good game in a fantasy league that I'm in round one of the playoffs. Really need him for a good game. But they're playing the Saints, and they've beat up on bad teams. Last week, who'd they play? They didn't play Tennessee. Oh, they were on their bye last week, but their last game was against Tennessee. They started off strong. They played a great game of football, I think, and if they keep up the momentum against the New Orleans Saints, they'll get a much-needed victory in this week. The Ravens and the Giants. Now, almost every week the Giants have a matchup I like. I'll predict the Giants to win, and almost every week I get a little bit disappointed, and I'm just done picking the Giants to win this one. Even though I don't like this matchup at all, the Baltimore Ravens are going to steamroll them. Baltimore is a good team that has struggled against really good teams this year. They're not the steamroll team that they were last year. They're not the best team in the NFL that they were last year. but they're still a very solid team. And against the New York Giants that have had struggles, Tommy DeVito has not led a good offense whatsoever. Danny Dimes no longer on the team. Easily predicting the Baltimore Ravens to kind of steamroll the New York Giants. The Bengals and the Titans. Say it with me, folks. When do I ever predict the Tennessee Titans to win a football game? Spoiler alert, I don't. I actually predicted them to win last week because they were playing Jacksonville, and I was wrong. That's the last time I predict Tennessee to win a game. I did not do a predictions video last week. It's just on my boys' pick'ems. Not boys' pick'ems, but sleeper pick'ems. The league's named the boys. Anywho, they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals, who have the best offense in the league. They have the worst defense in the league, and so they're not a very good team. I do kind of feel that they're squeezed into that 7th spot in the playoffs, though. Just because Joe Burrow and this offense is explosive. They almost lost to the Dallas Cowboys last week because guess what? Their defense is horrible. But Joe Burrow is a great quarterback, and this offense is the best offense in the NFL. And as a Cincinnati Bengals hater, I love seeing the downfall, but it hurts to watch Joe Burrow, who's just such a talented quarterback, get killed by his defense every week because he does the best he can for his team. I love the matchup here. Tennessee's a horrible team. I never predict them to win. I've got to go Cincinnati this week, but this could be a big week for them. They need to win out to turn their season around. The New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals. Man, what happened to Arizona? They were living high, best season that they've been having in a long time, top of their division, and then all of a sudden they're on a losing streak. Seattle's at the top of their division. And it's very difficult for me to choose who do I think's gonna win this division? Arizona or Seattle? I don't think it's gonna be San Francisco. I actually think they're gonna lose their division. I think the Rams have a chance to. I think this is a division of mid teams that are very fun to watch. Arizona's very fun to watch. I do think they're going to get a win here against New England, who's just really not a good team. Drake May, they need to do some rebuilding next year for Drake May to actually be a good quarterback, because I do feel like Drake May is a good quarterback, but easy for me. I'm choosing Arizona to win this game just because Arizona is a really, really, really strong team that struggles quite often. I mean, I do like a lot of players on the team. Kyler Murray's having a good season. Marvin Harrison Jr., James Conner. This is a solid team, and I do think they're going to get a win again. The rematch we've all been waiting for, and by waiting for, I mean dreading, the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos. Now, both teams much better. I mean, the Colts have Anthony Richardson now. The Denver Broncos have Bo Nix, who's been playing excellently, and I think is going to go far run in the playoffs this year as a surprise team. But it's going to be a much more entertaining matchup than it was a couple of years ago, that 12-9 game. Speaking of a 12-9 game, we had a 12-9 game this past Thursday. What's up with that? It was a bad game. I went to see Kraven the Hunter, so I only watched the fourth quarter of that game, or I listened to it in my car. But, man, that was not a good game. Anyways, back to this game. I do think the Denver Broncos are a stronger team. I want the Colts to win because me, Florida Gators fan, love Anthony Richardson, but the Denver Broncos have been playing fantastically. Their team chemistry is awesome. Bo Nix has been playing great. Cortland Sutton, great addition there too. And one of the best defenses in the league, I do think, a surprise fantasy defense. And so I'm going to go Denver to beat Indianapolis. I will be rooting for Indianapolis, not only because of that, but because Denver's in our division. But I do think Denver's going to win. Buffalo and Detroit, one of our two awesome games and the 325 category. Now, Buffalo, great team, lost last week to the Rams in a fantastic game. The Rams, real big sleeper team. I definitely think they're going to make the playoffs and go for a nice little run there. Anyways, Buffalo, a fantastic team. But last time they lost a game, they lost 2 in a row, then went on a win streak. I do think they're going to lose 2 in a row again this time because Detroit is easily the best team in the league. It's by far the best team in the NFL, I definitely do think, because they blow out a lot of teams, and they don't just blow out bad teams. They've blown out good teams like the Green Bay Packers. Their game last week was great. Dan Campbell's got balls, which I say all the time in my family. I say, he's not a great coach because the decisions he makes kind of could ruin them. It's a team that really helps them. But I definitely do think Detroit's going to win this game. I do think it's going to be a close one. I just think Buffalo's going to lose 2 in a row, win out the rest of the year. And that's kind of what I'm hoping, so Kansas City can make the 1 seed. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Now, Pittsburgh is a very big sleeper team. Yeah, they're a great team, but they've gotten wins that I feel like were kind of surprise wins for their team. think they're going to pull off another one here. Philadelphia has been excellent this year. They're going to make a deep run into the playoffs as well. Probably go to the NFC Championship game, if not make the Super Bowl again. But I do feel like, I definitely do feel like Pittsburgh is going to win this game. Because Pittsburgh has won games that they probably should have lost earlier in the season. And very, very surprising. Russell Wilson has been playing great. The rest of the team has been playing solid. The one thing I'm worried about is that George Pickens will not be playing for Pittsburgh. But I do still feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be playing a great game and pull off another surprise. I don't know if I'd call it an upset. I definitely do think this is going to be a great game, just like Buffalo and Detroit. But I'm going Pittsburgh to win this one. Tampa Bay at the Chargers. Now, I do think this is going to be a good game. Tampa Bay has been more solid ever since Mike Evans came back, gave Baker Mayfield more weapons to throw to. Bucky Irving has been a very surprise player who I think has been playing great. Not last week. Thanks, Bucky, for helping me miss the playoffs in my favorite fantasy league. Thanks a lot. Anyways, still a great, underrated rookie, I definitely do think. The Chargers have been playing solid as well, but I do feel like Buccaneers have been playing better. I do think that the Chargers are a very solid team. I do think that they are going to go to the playoffs. Probably not make it out of the wild card round. But I do think, and yes, I hate to say this, that the coaching has kind of worked. They added to the defense. But Tampa Bay, I do think, has been playing solid. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a field goal game. Either way, I could go either way on this game. But I am going Tampa Bay to win. Sunday Night Football, Green Bay at Seattle. This is going to be a solid game because Seattle is the top team in their division. Green Bay in a tough division with Minnesota and Detroit. But they are also a great team, which is why I'm going Green Bay to win. I do think Green Bay is a better team than the Seattle Seahawks. I do kind of hope the Seattle Seahawks win this one because I don't know. I do want Arizona to win their division, but I would also be completely fine with Seattle winning their division, or I would be fine with the Rams winning their division because I like a lot of players on the Rams. I don't like the Rams. I like a lot of players on the Rams. Very specific there. But I do kind of hope Seattle wins and beats Green Bay just because I don't like Green Bay, but I do think Green Bay is going to win this one just because they're a more solid team. Seattle has struggled in quite a bit of games this year, and just because their division is the battle of the mid, I do think Green Bay is going to win. Chicago at Minnesota. This is going to be an easy one. Let's predict, me and you, how exactly this game is going to go. Minnesota up by 21 heading into the fourth quarter. Chicago, 2 touchdowns in a row. 50 seconds on the clock. Driving down the field. Missed field goal. Someone drops a touchdown pass in the end zone. Something along that lines. I think it's going to be close. Obviously, the game last week wasn't close. But I do think that this game is going to be kind of close. But then, obviously, Minnesota is going to pull out near the end. I do think they're going to demolish Chicago until the fourth quarter. Because Chicago's a fourth quarter team. And I don't know who to blame. I don't think Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. I'm sorry, but if you have Keenan Allen, Roman Dunze, Cole Kmet, who last year was a top 15 tight end, not anymore because you got, guess who? Caleb Williams throwing to him. I don't think he's a good player whatsoever. And my brother, who's a Bears fan, will actually probably will agree with me at this point in the season. But I definitely do think he's the downfall of the Chicago Bears. Meanwhile, Sam Darnold, very surprising in his effectiveness as quarterback. So I'm going to predict Minnesota to win this one pretty easily, but I do think it'll be close in the fourth quarter. And finally, our final Monday night game, the Atlanta Falcons and the Raiders. Going the Falcons to break their win streak here, just because I don't feel the Raiders are a very good team, because they don't really have a quarterback in the position right now. And plus, they're just not a good team. They're really not. You know that meme where it's like this ugly house and then like a Mustang in front of it? Brock Bowers on the Las Vegas Raiders. 100%. But Atlanta really struggling. Kirk Cousins, surprisingly not been very good this year. Or at least he has been, but not the past couple of weeks. I don't think he's going to be particularly great here, but I do think he's going to be good enough to get this team a much-needed win against the Las Vegas Raiders. And if Tampa Bay loses, I think it'll be a tight squeeze to who's going to be in the playoffs in that division. All right, that was my not college football, my NFL Week 15 predictions. What are yours down below in the comment section? Thank you guys for clicking on this video. With that said, subscribe, join the Red Nation. Peace out.